sloppy. He was more of a mid-card guy than a bottom-of-the-lineup guy, and he actually had a great run, not only as a mass executioner in the WWF, but also in Bedlam in Boston, managed by Wild Bill Curry. How many pro wrestlers can say that, folks? Not many. I'll answer it for you. Now, I gotta bring this up, brother. This is a good one here. I heard this story, Ron. I want you to tell our listeners and viewers, if you don't mind. If you just joined us, it's Big Ron Shaw, former WWF Star and IWF 2022 Hall of Famers here tonight with us. Ron, can you tell us a little bit about this? I heard about this. You were traveling with a gentleman that was a fill-in substitute pro wrestler. His name is Fred Marzino. He smoked like a chimney. He was worried about Pat Patterson chasing him around the ring. Now, I remember Fred Marzino, Ron, and Marzino had the generic black tights and the black boots. He was, talk about sloppy, always sloppy, never in shape, got in the ring, didn't do anything. Marzino was just like, talk about a sleeper. And I'm not sure, like a pro wrestler like Fred Marzino that you were traveling with and you worked with this particular night that I want to ask you about. Marzino is a type of pro wrestler that would make Mario Mancini look like Hulk Hogan.
Well, very, very true. You did your homework on this one. And, this was going to be one of my unofficial first matches in the WWF. See, on occasion when we were training there at the school, Angelo Savoldi, who ran the New England area, would call Kowalski up, hey, I need 2 guys for a match. So Walter says, hey, Ron, he goes, we're going to send you to Vermont. You're supposed to meet up with Fred Marzino. I had to go somewhere downtown Boston. And this was like one of those spot shows in a high school. So what happens is I get into Marzino's car, and already the inside of the car is just filled up with smoke. All right, and I'm got the window. I had to crank that window down. Fred, I hope you don't mind, as I can't take that cigarette smoke. And he's just chain smoking all the way up to Vermont, not saying a word. And I said, all right. I said, I guess I can be quiet too, And then we started getting up into Vermont, and it is dark. And he didn't have any idea where the hell he was going, We end up finding the school, high school, and we're coming in. I remember cutting through the crowd pretty much to get the hell in there because the matches were underway. Matter of fact, it was already Patterson working against Larry Zbyszko. And we get in the back there, and they're saying, well, what the hell happened to you? I said, I pointed at Fred. He's driving, so I don't get any heat, So we get in that match, and I have to put over Fred Marzino because I'm new, And, I even though he's been in the business, I don't know if he ever threw a punch in his life because, he was always getting beat up all the time. But we had to make a match of it, and we did. But, he went over on me on that night. But that's a story. That's a story in its own. And you're right. He got there in the dressing room, and he said, oh, I don't know, Pat's going to be chasing me all around. He always wants to give me a kiss. Sure enough, wow. There's Pat chasing him around. Oh. And I'm just sitting there watching, just laughing. It's crazy. Still funny today, man. It's still funny today.
It's still funny today, Ron. And I that was just something interesting that I wanted to bring up. Ron, you've been in the ring